Hello viewer, welcome to History and Government lesson Form 1. This is lesson 6 with your teacher Mr. John Gatuma. In our previous lesson, we were looking at the stages of development or other evolution of man, and we said that this one was given by Charles Darwin, who was actually a natural scientist. And therefore, I gave you some assignment concerning that. And the question you're supposed to try is you outline 4 distinct stages in which evolution took place. There are 4 distinct stages according to Charles Darwin, and these stages of evolution is 1, we have the natural selection, and we said in the natural selection, this is whereby the nature only selects the stronger animals or other stronger species, and those who are weaker, they get to be extinct. Number 2, we said we have mutation, and mutation we said is an abrupt or sudden change in an organism so that it can fit in the environment. Third, we said we have a stage that is known as the environment isolation. We said isolation is whereby a species changes some physical features when it is isolated, or rather left alone. Final stage we said is an environmental adaptation, and an environmental adaptation is whereby an organism completely changes some characteristics or rather the trait so that it can fit in the environment. So in today's lesson, we shall deal with the chapter 2, that is early man. The subtopic is the evolution process. And welcome to this lesson today. It's going to be enjoyable for this case. So evolution of man, we can start by defining the term evolution. In our previous lesson, we were defining the term evolution. And what is evolution? Evolution, this refers to the process of slow or gradual change in the makeup of man from simpler species, that is the ape-like, to a more superior species, that is the modern man, over the years. And we say that according to Charles Darwin, who gave out the theory of evolution of man, as he was advancing this theory, he said that a human being, or rather a man, had to go to a process of slow or gradual change in the makeup of man from a simple species, that we say the molecules, that is species that is look like an ape-like, to a more complex or a more superior species, that is the modern man that you see today, over the millions of years. So man changed from a state or other simpler state of species that was known as the primitive form to a way he is today. The modern man that you see today came from a very primitive form. When you talk of primitive form, this is a form that is more simpler. It is more of an ape. And he, through over the millions of years, this man moved in various stages, and this is what we want to look at today, the evolution process. So, at first, man and ape, they shared a common ancestry. And when we talk about common ancestry, they came from one class, or rather they came from one ancestors or ancestry that is known as the primates. So, at first, man and ape, they were the same before the evolution, and they were regarded collectively as the primates. When you talk of the primate, this is an ape-like, look like an ape. It's a combination of an ape and a man. That is known as the primate. So therefore, through the 4 distinct stages that you are looking, the natural selection, the mutation, and isolation and environmental adaptation, man became the way he is today. So at first, they were primates. So man's particular family group, now because we have said primate, comprises of man and ape. So the two forms a primate, and therefore man's particular family group, the group of man in that primate, was known as the hominidae. The man in particular family group was known as the hominidae. When we say hominidae, come from the word homo. Homo means human being. And therefore, the group of the human beings or a group of man in particular, that family group was known as the hominidae. Whereas the ape's particular family group in that primate was known as the pongidae. When we say the pongidae is comes from the word pongi, that is the ape, and therefore an ape was regarded as the pongidae in that particular group. So therefore man had to move, and this one marked the beginning of the evolutionary process that we are going to look today. So remember that this information about man is obtained from the archaeologists and also the paleontologists, biologists, geologists, and psychologists. So they are the ones who have provided this information. And man separated because initially it was known as the hominidae. In that case, man separated from ape-like ancestors, that is the primates, the hominidae, through the evolution over the millions of years to hominids. When you talk of the hominids is the means man-like creature. So man separated from ape-like ancestry, that is the hominidae, and the next step over the years was known as the hominids. The hominids means the man-like creature. So that means he's a man who look like the way you see today, although he's not, the process of evolution is not yet complete. So an ape's particular family group, we have said, was known as the pongidae, and you can see the pongidae. Pongidae means an ape-like. You can see the walking style. Man was not erect, was not moving while erect, or rather an upright stature. You can see he was not yet developed. But through the process of evolution, man developed in this way that you can see. So the common ancestry So man's particular family group, we have said, is the Pongidae. And look at the Pongidae. This is the man. Through the process of evolution, he has moved from an ape-like creature to a hominidae, which later turned to hominids. And we have said hominids is man-like creature. Look at this creature, look like man, all the physical features. Through the process of environmental adaptations, it has changed to the form you see today, the hominids. The hominids come from the word homo, and homo means human beings. And therefore, through the archaeological studies, they have shown that the cradle of man is in Africa. So this creature that you can see was discovered in Africa, and therefore Africa is regarded as a cradle of humankind, or rather the cradle of man. And through the archaeological sites, archaeological information, they have given out some very, very important evidence to show, or rather to prove, that actually East Africa, man evolved from here. And some of the very important archaeological sites, or rather archaeological evidence that can show that man came from East Africa, we have the Olduvai Gorge. Olduvai Gorge is in Tanzania, We have the Isimila, that is the same in Tanzania. We have the Rusinga Island, Fort Tenan, and Lake Turkana, that is in Kenya. We have Songezi, the Para Shango in East Africa, that is in Uganda. And also very important historical archaeological sites outside East Africa. We have the Hadar and Ombo Valley, which is in Ethiopia. So this one, among many other archaeological sites, all these hominids, skulls, they have been discovered in the area. And the main reason why we say Africa is the cradle of man, there are various numerous archaeological sites, and these archaeological sites that are there in Africa that we have mentioned, this prove that East Africa was the cradle, or rather the origin of man. Apart from archaeological sites, we have in East Africa, there was all seasonal rivers. So these rivers, they were not drying up, and therefore these human beings, they could survive on these areas. So this one has come to the end of our lesson today. I want to leave you with some assignment that you will try so that in the next lesson we shall pick from there. So you explain why Africa is the most probable cradle of mankind. Explain why Africa is most probable cradle of mankind. Why do you think Africa is the most probable cradle? The cradle means the origin. Why do you think Africa is the origin of mankind? Question 2. You state 2 major reasons why the earliest mammals, they lived on trees. Why do you think the earliest mammals, we have seen the hominids, the fungidae? Why do you think all these mammals, or rather the primates, lived on top of the trees? So thank you for following our lesson today. I am so glad to serve you, and therefore for this and much more on history and government, or any other lesson that you want to get the information, you can always contact us through the number on your screen. That is our SMS number is number 4007. That is number 4007. On our Facebook page, you can get us at Elimu TV. Our Twitter handle is at Elimu_KE. So I'm glad that you are watching Elimu TV. That is your TV station where you watch and learn. So thank you. Stay tuned till we meet in the next lesson. I have been your teacher, Mr. John Gatuma. Thank you.